Because if we aren't accepting the narrative that that distance didn't pass through, and yet for whatever reason the feds scrambled to repave that area.
And ended up being Miss USA. How does that happen? How do you go from sports to Miss USA? And then they meet at a Turning Point event in 2018, where she's interviewing for a job for Turning Point. Solidified. I got a feeling there's more to the story here.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. Erica Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. Erica Kirk is at the head of Turning Point USA because, just like I alluded to last week, and which I will double down on now, I believe that people within that company betrayed Charlie.
Candace Owens has just exposed shocking details about Charlie Kirk's death, suggesting it wasn't a random act at all. In fact, she hinted that the betrayal came from those closest to him and that Charlie saw it coming long before it happened.
Thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay? He did not express that to me, so I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people, who I think are good, will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill?
Something deeply unsettling is happening inside Turning Point USA, and Candace Owens isn't keeping quiet about it. In one long-overlooked episode, she makes a chilling revelation. Someone within Charlie Kirk's own company may have betrayed him. At the center of it all is Charlie's widow, Erica Kirk, who now leads the organization. Candace even revealed that a woman was spotted with Tyler Robinson, the man who would later assassinate Charlie Kirk.
To that, some incredible breaking news. We have now confirmed that there was indeed a woman who was with in the footage that was captured by the houses nearby the area. And for whatever reason, the FBI has not yet released or even acknowledged that that footage exists. This is absolutely huge, actually. I think this is the biggest thing that we have uncovered since the beginning of this investigation. So let's jump right back into this. Welcome back to Candace. We had received a lead live on the show. Someone paid money to inform us that there was footage that the FBI was hiding, right? She wrote in, said, I have been trying to reach out to you everywhere. The FBI is hiding footage. The doorbell cam footage had more. This is what the person told us. She said, this is then seen changing his clothes, and he is with a woman.
Candace didn't hold back. She warned, if you're a rat on a ship, you should probably flee now. Then, she described newly uncovered footage that she claims raises serious doubts about what really happened the day Charlie was shot. According to Candace, the footage shows a man removing a camera just 4 minutes after the shooting, a camera that had been positioned right behind Charlie's head. She says she personally recognized the man, even spoke to him, and watched the footage herself, but has chosen not to release it publicly for reasons that remain mysteriously unclear.
For unpacking the footage that was going viral of the guy that was taking down the camera, which was directly behind Charlie's head, a mere approximate 4 minutes after Charlie was shot. Everybody thought that it was very suspicious. I recognized the individual and reached out, had a conversation, saw the footage, and made the promise that I was not going to share it. Although I said to you, I encouraged them to share it. I believe that the reason everybody is a conspiracy theorist is because people don't share truth, right? Once you share everything, there's no room for conspiracy. And when I was sharing what I saw, I was doing so because I was just thinking that, this could help. Like, this can obviously remove people from their conspiracies. And then it kind of occurred to me that what I shared was a bigger deal than I had imagined by saying that I didn't see any blood. And that is a fact. I did not see any blood. In fact, the only blood that I did see at all, I'm talking about blood on the back, was on Charlie's hand, on Charlie's left hand, which, as many people have been saying, means that the blood moved forward. We don't need to get into all of the gore. But what I didn't expect thereafter was for the Turning Point USA spokesperson, Andrew Colvett, to issue this statement as people were asking questions like, hey, how is that possible? How was there nothing in the back if this is the gun that was used? Andrew Colvett tweeted this over the weekend. I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize if this is somewhat graphic. But in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know.
Candace wasn't convinced. She called out the organization, accusing them of manipulating Charlie's Christian audience by using the word miracle to silence any real questioning. She argued that many conservatives are experienced hunters who know how firearms work, and that this so-called explanation just doesn't add up.
Conservative base is filled with Christians, but also the conservative base is filled with a lot of hunters, okay? People that hunt, and they know weapons, and they know how weapons work, and they know how weapons don't work. And this particular statement to me does not pass the sniff test. Now, again, when I shared that information, I had assumed they were going to say the angle went through this way. I did not imagine they were just going to say that it was a miracle. Alex Jones immediately took to X Live. This began trending. The statement began trending, and he jumped onto X, and he responded to that statement saying this. Take a listen.
The spokesperson for TPUSA just posted 2 hours ago that they talked to the coroner and that Charlie Kirk was shot with a 30-06 in the left side of his neck, the carotid artery, and that he's a man of steel, and that the bones in his neck that are like chicken bones stopped a bullet that travels 2,500 feet a second out of the barrel at 200 yards, depending on the grain of the cartridge and the rest of it. Probably hit him at 1,900 feet per second. I've shot hogs at 500 yards, 30-06, right to the side. Tiny hole, blows a 4-inch hole out the other side. We're talking through 2 feet of a hog. Boom. Hit him in the head, brain completely blows out. They just said he got shot 30-06. And that it didn't go through.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And here's the thing. If you were going to bring me to the argument that this truly was a miracle, it probably would not be in the midst of a circumstance where
As skepticism spread online, Kash Patel issued a statement promising a full-scale federal investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. He claimed they were examining every possible angle from the bullet's trajectory and potential accomplices to text messages, Discord chats, and even a plane that mysteriously turned off its transponder near the scene. But Candace wasn't buying it. She pointed out that the plane's owner, Derek Maxfield, had already admitted they'd received permission from air traffic control to turn off the transponder, meaning the federal claim of signal loss simply didn't add up.
As that they looked into the transponder thing, and yeah, we checked it out, and actually they just lost service. Okay, that disputes what the plane owner themselves, he identified himself, Derek Maxfield, and issued a long statement on Instagram where he said that they got permission to, turn off services, which are transponder services, and they got that permission from the air traffic controller. So it can't be both. It can't be, no, it never happened, they just lost service, and Derek Maxfield saying, no, we had communication with the ATC, which is air traffic control, and what we did followed guidelines. So that's already a problem. Secondly, saying that you're not going to release information because you want to protect the integrity of the investigation while also releasing those ridiculous text messages that looked like somebody was having fun on TikTok and making, a ridiculous skit. I don't feel like the investigation has much integrity, or the feds in general have any integrity after you guys gaslit us about Jeffrey Epstein, okay? So if you want us to, or if you want to restore credibility to the feds, I would allow the mommy sleuths to take over. That's my opinion. I'd get in touch and allow the internet to do what the internet does, because now you're answering everything that we brought up. Not me, we. Because it is because of the entire world paying attention, sending tips. I'm grateful to God that I have a platform to be able to share that information and to encourage it. But this is just coming from regular people around the world. And now you guys are, it feels like playing defense because you have not been playing offense.
Then came Candace's most shocking claim yet. She revealed that beneath the very spot where Charlie was sitting lies a network of underground pipelines and tunnels running directly below his chair. According to Candace, photos show access hatches and valves linked to the university's irrigation system, a detail that, she suggests, might hold the key to understanding what really happened.
Important those valves were to warfare, because if you just want to shut down someone's pipeline, let's say you want to shut off water, or you want to shut off gasoline, yeah, it makes sense why the government would want to be controlling pipelines and valves. But anyways, I started to ask myself, oh, well, did anybody look into whether or not there was anything under Charlie Kirk when he was right? Because if we aren't accepting the narrative that that particular guy, that distance, didn't pass through, and yet for whatever reason the feds scrambled to repave that area, maybe, as some people have speculated, he was from a closer distance. I started wondering, was there an access point to any valves? Were there any pipelines that could have been under Charlie? And as it turns out, I looked at some old pictures of where he was sitting, and there was a massive pipeline that was almost exactly behind where Charlie was sitting. Here's that maybe it's a water pipeline, I don't know, but there it is under the flag. And to your right, I went into my tips line and I saw that somebody had messaged me about this. More than one person messaged me about this. They're like, hey, yeah, there's like a whole underground thing there. To your right, you're observing those two little boxes, and they told me that was a trap door. Now, I'm not implying someone, popped up and Charlie, but that's a close-up of that area. I'm just implying that there's an entire underground there. And I remember when I looked at the footage, I felt like it was coming up. I don't know anything about ballistics. I'm not an expert. But if there was a hatch door nearby, then we can assume, as we should always assume with colleges, obviously stadiums, there's always an underground. At this moment, no definitive understanding of what happened on the day that he was assassinated. But what we do know definitively is that the feds are lying to us. That is obvious. It is abundant. If you're able to think thoughts, you recognize that something is very wrong with the story that has been presented to the public. And I think that what the public doesn't understand, and I count myself among the public, is why it seems as though Turning Point USA executives, and I'll say seems, are not even remotely interested in challenging that official narrative. They're not interested in challenging it publicly, at least. In fact, I think it was an ex-user that pointed out, he put it rather bluntly when he said, so they want us to forgive Tyler Robinson, but to attack the people that are trying to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk? Like, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Of threats of lawsuits, we're collecting evidence of it. What are we even talking about? And I want to say that what's been bothering me in particular are the micro lies. It seems that they're suddenly in the business of telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half-truths that right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary. It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting exactly? You'll see oftentimes they and other influencers will invoke Erica as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate, while Erica is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just gonna come back at you with some common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband? She has not explicitly said that, but the influencers are invoking that. Right? They're invoking, it's not appropriate right now for people to be asking questions. That's what I mean when I say they are David hogging us, okay? You could also use another example, somebody that was on the right, Kyle Kashuv. What essentially means is that when a tragedy takes place and we are emotional, our emotions are raw. Me especially, I think this was the first time where I couldn't really check my emotions. I'm just now like moving out of the grief stage. There will be people that then will try to manipulate you, right? They will try to manipulate you by using that strategy of saying, well, it would be really wrong. It would be really wrong for you to look beneath this layer or to ask a question about this. And it would be an injustice to Charlie Kirk's legacy.
Through it all, Candace remains convinced that someone close to Charlie betrayed him, a belief she just can't shake, no matter how much time has passed.
Think, and let me know if you think this is crazy, but I'm starting to think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of, right? Maybe people around him counseling the king, people who perhaps betrayed him, because there are just too many things that I am finding out that are not adding up to me, okay? There are also, I do want to say this, too many first times leading up to this event, okay? One person who emailed me said, hey, I've been supplying bulletproof vests to Charlie for all of these campus tours, and suddenly last spring, the last campus tour, they canceled my contract with them. They did not want to renew. When I asked them why, they told me that Charlie wanted to go a different direction by getting an army vest instead, like a metal army vest, I believe is what he says. And he said, this made no sense to me. I didn't understand it. Okay, so Charlie decided to use a new company, even though I don't think he was actually wearing a bullet vest on that day. So what happened there, I'm not sure. Something else that is really bothering me, just because I have done these campus tours, is the question of why Charlie was set to do 2 events in Utah a mere 20 days apart, okay? He was supposed to do UVU, and then today was scheduled to do, just 20 days later, USU. Now, those 2 campuses are just under 2 hours apart if you're driving. It's also interesting to know that the Utah FBI also got a new set of employees. The state FBI department, Kash Patel, went ahead and fired not only the chief of the Utah borough, but also some other people. You can see this in the Daily Mail article. They recount this after Charlie's death. Kash Patel questions grow as it's revealed he gutted the Utah FBI leadership before Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is true. He fired the chief, among other people, and replaced her with Robert Bowles in August. I think Robert Bowles, actually, it was his first week when Charlie got shot. And he's somebody who has been in DC for decades. So it seems to me to be an unusual placement to then want to re-up your entire life, assuming you have a wife and kids, and move to Utah. But whatever, again, everything just feels a little too brand new to me. Then I speak to the individual who I told you guys that I recognized, that had taken down the cameras minute 4 after Charlie was shot. The back camera of all the ones when you take the front camera, I don't know. Again, I'm not here to read into how people might act in an emergency event, but I thought it was weird that he was there in general, actually, that he was behind Charlie the entire time. I've never seen that. He's never been behind me at an event. He's never been lingering around me at an event. And I asked about that. I asked about just his presence behind Charlie, and plus the mysterious phone call that he was seen making in like minute 3 after Charlie was assassinated. And he told me explicitly that they were trying something new that day. Like it was something new. Charlie's super ambitious, and on the AV thing, they were trying something new, and they wanted to be able to feed it back instantly to Arizona. None of it makes sense to me because these events are typically live streamed.
After Charlie's death, authorities acted swiftly. Within just 33 hours, police identified Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old electrical engineering dropout from Utah State, as the prime suspect in the case.
Something new, okay? So let's stick with that theme. Do you want to know something else that was brand new leading up to this event? Charlie's perspective on Israel, okay? So let me say this so you can hear it. Charlie Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely, okay? There are no ifs and there are no ands and there are no buts about it. Israel knew that. Turning Point USA knew that because Charlie was explicit. So my question is, why isn't Turning Point USA making any statements and shutting down this repeat attempt by Israel to lie and to pretend that towards the end, Charlie was just authoring love letters to Israel, giving them a perspective of here's how we can win here's what you guys need to do. You need to work with this Hillel, whatever it is. Yeah, the same people that are calling me anti-Semitic, you need to work with those people harder. And he was just putting it on paper. Was it an email? What was that they were sharing? The New York Post, the Israeli Post, right? What were they sharing there? He wrote of his deep love for Israel. He had nothing else to do in May. Wrote of his deep love for Israel to a letter to Netanyahu. Netanyahu said they were close, but in the letter, Charlie puts his number, which apparently Netanyahu didn't have his number. And we're supposed to believe, did he send that as an email, by the way? Can somebody clarify, was that an email they were sharing? Or did he send it in the mail to him? Could somebody share that, please? I'm assuming it was an email. Can someone share the timestamp on that? Just kind of like authenticate that email, because I'm very aware of what's going on, okay? And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night, okay? I don't know how you can present yourselves as a Christian organization and not be dedicating yourself to the truth. No matter what the cost is, you tell the truth. That's it, okay? You don't hide it. You don't try to obfuscate it. You don't try to say, well, wait until the memorial event before we start looking into who murdered him. You tell the truth and you tell it immediately.
Online, the hashtag #Utah cover-up began trending, sparking intense speculation. Was Tyler Robinson a scapegoat or did he have help? Then came Erica. Just hours after Charlie was pronounced dead, she appeared before the cameras with their 2 children calm, steady, almost unnervingly composed. Charlie fought for his faith, she said, and now he's with his savior. At the massive memorial held at State Farm Stadium, Erica spoke confidently about America, faith, and carrying on Charlie's mission, yet she barely mentioned their marriage, leaving many to wonder why.
Hello. God bless all of you for coming here from all over the world to honor and celebrate my Charlie.
No tears, no hesitation, and that's when people began to ask, why does she seem so unaffected? Her first social media post after Charlie's death only fueled the mystery. You have no idea what fire you lit in this woman. The post went viral overnight, amassing over 1 million shares. Some called it a display of unshakable strength, while others saw it as a chilling warning.
A couple of weeks ago, before Charlie lost his life, Charlie was in the Hamptons and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote-unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you, and he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation.
Perhaps the most damning sign that Erica Kirk isn't the saint she's portrayed to be came just days after Charlie's death. On September 18th, only 8 days later, Turning Point USA's board announced Erica as the new CEO. They claimed it was Charlie's dying wish, but the speed of the decision set off alarms everywhere. Some called it a power grab, others, a takeover in plain sight. Rumors quickly spread of missing funds, foreign donors, and sudden shifts in TPUSA's mission. Even more telling, Charlie's parents didn't attend the announcement. They didn't say a word. Meanwhile, Candace kept pressing forward. Her posts racked up millions of views as she compared Erica's emotionless, polished speeches with Charlie's raw, heartfelt prayers. Side by side, she captioned, "Which one is the truth?" That post hit 12 million views in just 24 hours. From then on, every tiny detail became a clue: the way Erica stood, smiled, even the way she hugged Trump during the posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony. On TikTok, users called her body language too confident, almost like she'd already won.
Coincidence. Hold on to that thought. Did you know that Charlie Kirk's father, Robert W. Kirk, was actually the architect for Trump Towers? Also, did you know that Erica Lane Kirk won Miss Arizona USA in 2012? Don't forget, Donald Trump ran Miss America from 1996 until 2015. Seeing the correlation here? Now, not saying age difference is a big thing, but did you know Erica was 5 years Charlie Sr.? But this is where coincidences aren't coincidences. People, this was so arranged. And there's so much more to Erica Kirk. Kind of like how she was all into basketball, didn't want to be all girly, never liked to dress up, even cut all her hair off, and ended up being Miss USA. How does that happen? How do you go from sports to Miss USA? And then they meet at a turning point event in 2018, where she's interviewing for a job for Turning Point. Solidified. I got a feeling there's more to.
Her Romanian background soon became fuel for wild online theories, with some speculating about intelligence ties and honeypot networks' claims that only added to the growing storm surrounding her.
Either the epitome of what it means to be a MAGA woman who dumbs herself down and minimizes her success in the name of the man and the movement, or she is a honeypot. Because there's been speculations that Kash Patel is in a honeypot relationship, and that would kind of make sense, right? Like, you want to keep those guys close. You want to keep those guys together. You want to keep those guys controlled, right? If you don't know what a honeypot is, it's normally when a very attractive woman is used to control, manipulate, keep an eye on, guide a man, right? Erica Kirk has a law degree. She has a doctorate. She has 2 bachelor's degrees. She's 5 years older than Charlie. She had a successful basketball career in college. She had a successful pageantry career. And then in 2018, she runs into Charlie Kirk for the first time, and then they're very quickly married within, I think it's like 3 years or whatever. First of all, they've only been together for 7. I've keep seeing people say they've been floating around for like 10 years or whatever. They haven't. They've only been together for 7 years. This isn't some godly, long, profound, relationship that a lot of these people, they bring these people and MAGA, the high school sweethearts, whatever. She's either dumbed herself down to fit the narrative of what it means to be a MAGA woman, or she's a honeypot.
It was no longer just about the incident. It had become a battle of truth versus control, grief versus power. And at the heart of it all stood the woman who once stood beside Charlie Kirk, leaving many to wonder if she knows more than she's letting on now. All eyes are on October 30th, 2025, the date of Tyler Robinson's next court hearing. Will it finally bring answers, or just more questions? Was Tyler truly acting alone? Did someone help him? And is Erica's calm the strength of a grieving widow, or the mask of someone hiding secrets? We may be about to find out.